I battle and I go back and forth on the right energy and attitude I need to have with my son, so that so that he doesn't fall into the trap, because he is my son and I understand how it is. That's my baby. But I'm also very mindful that he has to be someone else's husband one day. How do I
We're gonna get into children.
help him in a way? Because that's my son. It is a difference with my daughter. I give her all the smoke. You're gonna be independent, you're gonna be this, you're gonna be that. My son, he got a special place in my heart. Right. I don't, and he's my baby.
Now you see, you hear that. And when I started off, right, and just make no mistake, when I started off, I said most of us are raised by single women.
Yeah.
And when a man leaves his father and his mother to cleave to his wife, you understand? See, your woman is not there to coddle and be a baby. Like you're not gonna. That's not your baby. You know what I'm saying? She's not gonna baby you.
Yeah.
You gotta lead her.
Yeah.
So that means some of this stuff you're gonna have to leave the attributes of your mother's teaching.
Yeah.
And if you desire to be baby, then you need to go home to your mom.
That's right.
Not bring that into the house with your wife. Right. So why the focus around money? Why? Because see, money is a measurement for how much purpose and vision that you have in your success, and it produces respect. That's what it does. So if you're not making money, if you're not providing, and she is, the woman loses respect. That's what's going to happen.
That's a fact.
Period.
That's a fact. I grew up in that. My mother made money, and she dated men that made less than her, and the conversations that went on in that home
was quite different.
Was very different.
I bet she was barking.
What?
And he was whoop boom boom boom.
Oh, absolutely.
See, money is a measurement of dominance and respect. If you get distracted in what I'm saying, you'll only focus on the money.
Yeah.
But it's a tool and a measurement of how we are seen and what we see with each other. Why is that important? When God established his kingdom, he put Adam and Eve inside of a garden. Now watch this. They were in a garden with everything that they could need or want. They had fruits to eat. They had animals to tend to. Yet he still gave them gold. You got to ask yourself why? Because what they was buying. It established the home. So you got to get it. If you don't have it and you have lack thereof, you have lack of purpose. That means you have lack of drive.
And
your woman will disrespect you. And so the answer, you want better women, you got to be better men.
Come on now. Talking heavy. Come on. You got to ask. And the thing that I don't get is that it becomes black women aren't this, black women aren't that, and there's no accountability. We both have things that we need to work on. But as a man, if you are the leader and you're the head and not the tail, then be that. Don't be what you oppose. Don't be what you despise. You don't like my attributes as a black woman, then don't be that. Be the light you want me to be the reflection of. Be what God wanted you to be. Stand up and be the head and go, look how he's carrying himself. He's not going back and forth with me, arguing with me. He's not, I guess, stooping down to my level. Be the light, be the head. And I can say, oh, okay, I need to follow his cue. Yeah. I'm going to be submissive to that. No, he's going back and forth with me, being argumentative and petty with me. Okay, now I'm not saying as women we got to keep pushing it.
But that's what women do.
No, for sure. Do not be what you oppose. And what I hear is, well, you do it. And because you do it, I could do it. Oh, it's good for you, but it's not good for me. Well, you're being the exact same thing that you say you don't like. And so then the rat race is like a dog chasing his tail. We just going to keep going around and around.
Mm-hmm. Y'all, we playing with time today because this is sensitive. We got time. So we in this. And I am and still battle with that. I think that it's unfortunate, and I'll say things like, it's unfair. Well, you get the da-da-da-da. And what I forget to do is appreciate the fairness in our position, because I think it is fair, and I think it's beauty in a woman naturally being able to do what it is that she do, whether that's if she gets upset. And I think it's beauty in the man being able to handle that, because it establishes character. After you get money, good home, good friends, character is built within that.
Yeah.
You understand? So the conversation moves different. So now I'm going to address the woman working. I don't think that, not that I don't think that a woman shouldn't work. I think that a man is a maintainer and a provider and a protector. What that means is you provide for your household monetarily, physically, and spiritually. If your woman decides to work, that's an added blessing to your house that you was not expecting. Mm-hmm. If she so desires not to, it still don't take away your role or your responsibility to be a man.
Yeah.
Let's be clear on that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so when we move this conversation along, if a woman don't work and she rears children, which that's her natural thing that she will be doing if she's not working, one of the things, right? It's our role to check the room. We got to read the room. Understand that you've been at work all day, business or work, and your environment is tough and heavy. It's not your woman's job to console your problems in your workspace. Talk to your boys about being a man to figure out solutions to better yourself and to better your work condition. Come home to your wife and unburden her spirit, because she's been where? Home with children and haven't had intellectual, spiritual conversations to stimulate her mind. She becomes dumbfounded if we don't feed into that. Understand that. We talking to children all day, every day. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you continue to have low-level conversation, it breeds the energy of low-levelness in your house, which causes chaoses, which causes disorder. So when I come home, I need to have spiritual conversations with my wife, intellectual conversations with my wife. Here's how we move the needle today. What's going on in your world? What happens in your spirit? Okay, what happened with the kids? Let that be a short stint, because she's going to get out her frustrations on
for
that.
sure. And then she's going to reciprocate and ask you, well, how was your day?
Right.
What, honey, how, it's
the conversation lift.
Yes.
The energy lift.
Yes.
The mood in the household
lift.
So in order for you to have spiritual conversations, guess what, brothers? You got to lead that. We must become knowledgeable, a learned man. You can't be a fool. You can't not know what's going on around you. In the world, in your business, what affects you, what affects the family, you cannot be a fool. Solomon said, he said, a man that wandereth out the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. If you have no understanding, you will be a dead man walking. You got to breathe life in yourself. Read.
Please be learned and educated. Please.
Right?
Please be those things.
So to break that down, what does that look like? Myron said there's 4 levels of wisdom. There's prerequisites to wisdom. One is we come into ignorance. That's natural. You are born with that. When I came into this world, I didn't know hot from cold. I had to touch it to understand it. That's ignorance. Once we move past ignorance, we got knowledge. It's accumulation of truth. Mm-hmm. Once we have knowledge, it's not enough. We need to understand it. It's the assimilation of truth. Well, I understand the roles of a man and a woman. Now I need to understand it. Well, let me see how this plays out. Boom. And once you get that, then you have wisdom, which is the application of truth. It's not enough for us to talk. We have to be about the business we talking about.
That's right.
That's how you test it. So you need to be insightful. You need to understand what these things do. You need to understand the roles of it, right? And so you got to understand, look at the placement of the duty that God gave us. In the first book of Genesis, 26 to 28, he gives the commandment to be fruitful, to multiply, to have dominion. He said it's not good for man to be alone. And so he made a woman to be equally yoked. And guess what? Adam says, well, this is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, and I'm going to call her a woman. So this establishment of a new law. right? And so that's when he said a man leaves his home and cleave to his wife. We got to be elite decision makers. See, we talk about Solomon and Jesus, but we don't take on the attributes of these men. They was elite decision makers. Yeah. That's what men should do. Elite decision makers. Men should be that. How do we know that they were elite decision makers? Well, Solomon made a decision between two women and their baby. Off the effects of that decision, it was heard throughout all the kingdom. His wisdom was heard in unseen places he wasn't even at. And guess what happened? The Queen of Sheba came to test his knowledge. You won't be a man unless you tested by a woman. It was no question she could ask that he couldn't answer. He understood his wisdom. How was Jesus like that? This is a test of character. Jesus was around Judas and knew who Judas was. Mm-hmm. See, men, you want to rebel and gossip. My mans ain't do this and that, and oh, he want to be a woman like this and that. But Jesus knew who Judas was, yet he still was around him, because guess what? It didn't affect his character. It didn't affect his ability to make decisions. That's right. It didn't affect his ability to move. Now, I got to spend a little time with it because I don't hear about this in the internet at all. Allow me a little bit of leeway.
They too busy.
So how we know what's the duties of a man? Solomon said a man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. Right? Paul told Timothy that if any man not provide for his own, or especially his own house, right, he be denied faith. It's worse than infidel. That lets you know a man sets the tone, the precedence. He has the mobility to have forward momentum in his family. This is important to understand, because if we establish the family, we establish business.
That's right.
Which creates generational wealth. Because you don't know your role, man. Black man, you can't lead a family. If you can't lead a family, you cannot lead a business. That's leadership qualities. You're going to have all kind of people, man, woman, diverse, black, white, all of them. If you can't lead yourself and your family, you can't lead a people, right? Now let's break this down. Gonna go to the board. My team said be pre-ready, so I was ready. A little bit. Right? So I broke down the attributes of wisdom, right? This is how we get wisdom, knowledge, and understanding right here. Ignorance, knowledge, understanding, wisdom produces a learned man. Now watch this now. Now see, most of y'all rebel in that in the Star of David. Understand, in the Star of David, it's a 6-pointed star. It's a duality of man and woman, man and God, of supreme. Guess what happens here? In this star, we produce a man from chest to point. We produce a man from head. Watch this now. I'm getting into it. Produce a man from head to point. If we only think about our lower ambitions as a man, we will continue to be low level and not spiritual. We can't lead that way. The more we focus on the duality of it and focus on ourselves on the spiritual plan, and this connects us with God himself, the better we can act as a people. This falls onto the woman too. Not going to draw that design. But what does that mean? Why the number 6, right? Now, 6 is the fall of man. Watch this. We out of the board. Here's where the wisdom come in. It says in Revelations, it says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here's the wisdom. Exactly what it's saying in the text. Here is the wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it's the number of man, and his number is 666. This is where we get 666. Now, some churches and beliefs and nationalities will have you to believe that 666 is the mark of the devil. However, 6 is the number of the fall of man. You will always be tested in this number. That's who we are, men and women. So we got to always learn ourselves, be prudent, study ourselves to be a diligent and righteous man so we can lead our women. The answer to women being better, the answer to children being better is for the man himself to pick himself up by his own bootstraps with the help of God and have good counsel of men around him. That's what Solomon said. Like, share, subscribe, like she said. And that's another episode. And don't forget to keep minding your biz, y'all. And we'll see y'all on the next episode.